Hey, welcome back to the Carlos Cavallo Dating Advice Guru podcast with your host. That's right, host with the most, that's Carlos me. Today we're talking about something pretty darn neato. Neato, what an old word. The number one secret that you need to know is how to get your ex back. It seems to be the one thing that gets the most questions. It's one of the most passionate questions there is out there, is how do you get your ex back? Now, there's some people that are passionately, why do I want to get my ex back? I spent all this time trying to get rid of him. And I agree, sometimes it does feel like that. But for a lot of people, you get dumped and you want your ex back. Well, a lot of women find themselves in the situation of needing to know how to do this little trick of getting him back. If you've ever been through a breakup, you'll know that oftentimes it's not hard to get them back with you. It's usually actually harder to keep the relationship from breaking up all over again. Why is this, and what's going on? Why is it so hard to keep a guy? I mean, it's probably no good to you to learn how to get your ex-boyfriend back unless you know how to keep them for good. And so this little article / podcast is for any woman who wants to know how to get her ex back and not have the relationship break up over and over and over again. Now, there's 5 critical steps to getting him back, and each of them involves some focus and attention from you. And I'll tell you right up front that most women that write into me have the same essential problem, really. Most women want a magical pill that will instantly give them love, security, and all of their wildest dreams. Now, you might think I'm kidding about that or exaggerating, but I'm not. When we get into desperate situations of wanting our ex back, we start to entertain all kinds of crazy possibilities. Everything from using astrology to voodoo to black magic to psychological tricks. Do you think those are ridiculous? Maybe so, but when you're in that crazy headspace of losing somebody that you really love, you'll consider anything to get them back. So let's dig into 5 real steps that you can use to get your ex-boyfriend back, and I promise there's no black magic in here. Rule number 1 is you got to get a secure base. The first step in treating someone who is in a crisis situation, and a breakup sure does qualify as a crisis, right? The first step is that they need a secure base. This simply means they need a place to be stabilized in their emotions. They need a secure base of support and grounding from which they can feel stable and centered. Breakups will induce a panic state in you, especially if it's not one that you saw coming. So you need a place to feel secure about yourself. Otherwise, you'll be freaking out every waking moment of your life, and you'll do crazy stuff that's going to end up scaring them away. And that will make it nearly impossible to get your ex back. When you have this secure base, you won't be as likely to violate the next rule of how to get your ex back. Rule number 2, don't act like a wimp. Basically, don't act clingy, needy, insecure, or desperate. I know it's asking a lot, but let's face it, your value to a man is in direct proportion to how fast he thinks you could go out and find a new boyfriend if he broke up with you. Let me say that again. He thinks you're valuable in direct proportion to how fast it would take you to go out and find a new boyfriend if he broke up with you. If you're able to get a new guy at the drop of a hat, he's going to consider you valuable, a keeper. Why? Because obviously if guys want you that badly, you must be valuable. It's the old supply and demand rule of life. And the same thing goes for women. You see men the same way. So your ex-back mistake number 1 would be calling, texting, emailing, and messaging him all the time. It's a huge mistake to do this, and you really shouldn't call or text them even once. These guys need to feel the scary vacuum of your absence to really appreciate you. When you act needy, insecure, clingy, or desperate, he's going to know immediately that you don't consider yourself a prize. So he will know to not treat you basically like a prize. That's what you're teaching him. Think about that for a second, because it's really huge. How could you be valuable as a mate to him if you don't think of yourself as valuable? Women often ask why men love bitchy women, and it's not that they really want a woman who acts like a bitch. Far from it. We really love warm, loving, feminine women. But here's how the logic goes in his head. Her, first of all, she thinks, I'm a bitch. She doesn't say it, she acts like it, right? Him, he says, and she's not even apologizing for being a bitch. She must believe it can't make much of a difference. Her, exactly. I can act however I like because guys won't reject me because of it. I've got looks, style, confidence, and I'm a goddess. Him, wow, she must be valuable. I'll work to win her. Now, this may not seem logical, and it isn't, but it's how we work as humans, how we determine human value. We value things that cost more. And quite frankly, some guys are willing to pay the cost of a bitch. Not me, I never have, and I never will, but you get the point, right? Rule number 3 of getting him back is sock it to him. Sure, let them break up with you. Go ahead. It won't do them any good. If you're a dating ninja like the women who know my stuff, it won't. You ever try to discourage a kid from something they really want to do? What do? Yeah, they get stubborn and they get even more convinced that they need to do that dumb thing that they were considering doing. Let me share this little X-back mistake with you. X-back mistake number 2 is begging and trying to get back with your ex using pity, guilt, or both. As the saying goes, if begging worked to get back with them, well, nobody would break up. All you have to do is beg and boom, you're back together. Even if you do manage to get them to take pity on you, they'll resent you and eventually wind up cheating on you, which is why you don't want to argue or fight against their decision to break up. As I always say, someone convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. You'll find that people don't respond well to someone who's trying to force them to do anything. We dig our heels in and we fight with all we've got. Even if it's in our best interest to change our mind, we'll still fight it. You have to let him go so easily that he wonders, wait a minute, why didn't she fight to keep us together? What's going on here? Maybe she's got another guy. Maybe there's something else going on. I see where this kind of awakens this curiosity, and this curiosity will get to him, and he'll start to think about losing you to somebody else. After all, maybe he's making a mistake. By giving him way more space and more time than he might have asked for, his imagination will be asking all the questions you would be. Did I make a mistake? Maybe I was too harsh. Wait, I'm not finding anybody better. What was I thinking? I need to get him back. Yep, it might not go exactly like that, but you get the drift. Give him about 30 days to really feel the space between you. Oh, and I've got something for you to be doing during those 30 days. That brings us to rule number 4. Get it together. This is the time you can now spend to get your game on. This is also where most women make the big mistake of just waiting for something to happen. If you just spend this 30 days waiting on him, you'd be going insane by day number 2. You need to keep yourself busy at the very least. But there's an even better way to keep busy than to just keep busy. Instead, make yourself irresistible to him. You have to get out and enjoy your life during this time. You have to make a real positive change to your life. Several changes if you can swing it. You might be thinking, Carlos, are you tricking me into getting over him, into moving on? Come on. Well, not really, but kinda. You do need to go out and act as if you're training to get ready for round number 2 of your relationship, okay? But at the same time, you can work on yourself a little bit here. Get a rocking new haircut, get a new hairstyle, get your teeth whitened and fixed up. Get into shape. Seriously, hit the gym. Get men looking at you. The best kind of redemption, right? And revenge, actually. Take up meditation. The single most impactful thing you can do to improve your sense of inner peace is to start learning how to meditate and be mindful. It's scientifically proven and it's spiritually proven. Do it. Update your look. Get some new fashionable threads. Maybe clean out the shoes and update those while you're at it. Look, the fact of the matter is that there is no guaranteed way for how to get your ex back. Ultimately, you do have to face the possibility that it's really over between you two. You might not want to think about that, but you should. The other truth is that it's 10 times more likely that he will want you back if you are over him than if you're just sitting around at home casting spells to make him come back to you. We want the things we can't have. And you're going to seem mighty hard to get if you're all ready for a new relationship with somebody else, right? Like it or not, we don't feel appreciation for something unless we have a small fear of being able to lose it. And don't forget, he didn't make you happy. It was what you thought about him that made you happy. It was your thinking that actually made you happy, not really his presence. All right, here we go. Rule number 5, walk the runway. It's time to unleash the hounds, honey. You've spent all this precious time working on yourself. It's time to walk the runway and let this guy know what you've got going on. You want to basically hit the reset button on him and initiate contact once again. When you two ended it, or he ended it on you, he was probably feeling smothered and fed up. That's typically where guys get to. So now he should see that you're not that woman now, right? He'll be wondering about you, where you are, and why you haven't been bugging him to get back together. He'll also have forgotten all that bad stuff. Remember, if you haven't made any positive changes in your life, it's probably a huge waste of time to contact your ex to try to meet up. Number one, he'll sense that you really haven't changed. And number two, you'll probably do something on the meeting that will prove that to him, because you won't have grown at all. So the right time to get together with him is after you've made those changes and grown. The best way to do this is to first send him an email that tells him, you're doing great, you've accepted the breakup, this one's actually really key, that you've accepted it, apologize for anything wacky you did after the breakup. Yeah, I know what you did. Yeah, you said you did that drive by his house, or you texted him at 3 a.m. Those things happen. But apologize for them. And then tease him by mentioning something cool and positive going on in your life. And these are some strategies, by the way, I go over in one of my programs. Then you want to wait a few days, even a week after you've teased him in that text, and then you can send him a text reminding him of something cool, not romantic, that you two did when you were together. Now, if he responds positively to that, you're going to have a good idea that you can set up the next time to connect and talk with him. And there's a very good chance that will be the time you get back with him. Now, you got to keep it very casual and laid back sounding. If it sounds or feels too romancy, he might bail on you. And then you'd have to recover from that. You don't want to do that. One of the best things you can do at this point is to use one of my passion phrases on him. If you can, you want to use the reset phrase, the one that gets him to reconsider your relationship. Guaranteed, this one phrase can turn him around and help you get your ex back. Now, you might find yourself asking questions like, what will my ex think if I don't contact him for 30 or 60 days, like you're saying here, Carlos? Or can't I make the no contact period shorter, like a week or a few days? Should I answer my ex's texts or calls during the no contact time? What if he starts dating other women while we're broken up?
And all content herein is copyright.
What if he starts dating other women while we're broken up?
Feel free to contact
There are
Carlos
tons
at
of questions like this. You can think yourself into complete lunacy by trying to foresee every other what if in the world. The real goal here is to get moving.
We welcome your comments
get moving
and
in your plans right now. You might need a little extra help going forward, and I can help you with that. You may want to know what to say to him and when. What are the words you use? You may want to know how men think and what you can do to get them to fall in love and stay in love with you. If that's what you need, then just go check out my simple set of passion phrases. Go on over to datingadviceguru.com/passion. That's datingadviceguru.com/passion. Go watch my video on this, because this is critical. Women need to know how to say the right things to men. They typically use the wrong words, the wrong phrases, and then they end up communicating something they completely didn't mean to say to him. You have to know what words a man is looking for. Men don't communicate in the same words that women do. In fact, we often misunderstand what you're saying when you use some of the words you do, and that's what leads to a lot of the breakups. Go learn how to use words the right way with him. Go on over to datingadviceguru.com/passion, and I'll be talking again soon. This is Carlos Cavallo from datingadviceguru.com. As always, please live and love with passion.